Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Amy. I have another ship with me video for you. Today is Monday, November 18th, and these are sales from over the weekend. It was a pretty good weekend. I had a total of 6 sales, so I'm not going to complain about that considering how it's been lately. So the first item that sold is this Brighton necklace, and this sold for $20. I will still pick up Brighton if it is affordable because it does sell, just not for super high dollar amounts. I paid $3 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $13. Not huge, but you know, every little bit counts. And this didn't take a terribly long time to sell, maybe a couple of months. But I am happy with it. I find jewelry very easy to photograph, list, ship, and store. So you can assume from the rest of the video that when I say my profit, that I am deducting my cost of goods, any website fees, and any shipping discounts. Okay, the next item that sold is this really fun vintage Hawaiian dress. Now, I think I might have been able to hold out and get a little bit higher price for this, but I decided to go ahead and flip it very quickly. It sold for $40. And this, it seems like this is the front because the tag is on the other side. But then there's also this cute button detail on this side. So I really feel like you could wear it either way. I went to an estate sale and I'd waited quite a while, and I got in there and there really wasn't that much. And another one of the reseller gals beat me to the closet, but she didn't take any of the vintage stuff. And there was 3 vintage Hawaiian dresses that were great colors, and they had these little kind of dusty, dark dusty marks on them. And I wasn't sure if it would come out, but they were only $3 a piece. So I stain treated them and then washed them on cold gentle, and they all came out really, really nicely. All of the marks came out. Okay, did I say this sold for $40? I only paid $1 for it. So that made my profit $31. And this has only been listed less than a month, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So I am happy with that quick flip. I decided not to, wait for the moon and stars and just take what I could get right away. Here is something that took forever to sell. I'm sure that you see many other resellers saying that Lululemon just isn't what it used to be. I picked these up. In my area, you rarely see Lululemon pieces just because I live in kind of a small town, and I think the nearest Lululemon store is probably like 4 or 5 hours away. Of course, people can order stuff online, but I used to get excited whenever I found Lululemon. These took forever to sell, and they ended up selling for $25. I had them priced originally at more than double that, but I've just learned that you just can't really get super high prices for Lululemon unless it is a very current piece or a just very desirable piece. I paid about $4 for these at the Goodwill, so that made my profit $16. That's just fine. I'm happy to move these out, and of course, I don't pay up for Lululemon, and I'm pretty particular about what I pick up at all anymore. Okay, so that is it for my Poshmark sales, but I also had 3 sales on Cherish, which is exciting. I have been listing more actively on there, and so I think that is why my sales have been better. So let me grab those. So the first item that sold is this really cool vintage planter. Has this really great glaze, a pretty nice size. This ended up selling for $85. I paid $12 for this at the Goodwill, so I did pay up, but I just thought it was really a unique, cool piece, and it was in quite nice condition. So Cherish charges they charge a range of fees, but my fee is 22%. So that made my profit $56.50. As always, if you're interested in selling on Cherish, I have the seller's guide linked in the description box below. I highly encourage you to read all of that before you decide if you want to sell on there or not, because there's some kind of different things. I do think it is a great platform to sell on. I also have my how I pack and ship breakables video linked in the description box where I share how I package my breakable items. Okay, the next item that sold is just this plain little, I guess it's not that plain, this little wood bowl. And this is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but Macassar wood. And it has this really pretty wood grain. You did see some of these in salad sets from the 60s and 70s. I don't know what this came from, but I listed it as a trinket dish, catch-all dish, and it sold for $53 for just this little bowl. It was listed quite a while, probably over a year. I only paid $1 for this at an estate sale, so that made my profit $41. The next item is this cute little brass duck or goose ashtray. Again, I just list this as a trinket or catch-all dish, and this ended up selling for $38. This also took a really long time to sell, over a year. I paid about $3 for this, so that made my profit $27.08. All of those did have a packaging fee that was included in the total sale price. But overall, I'm happy with this weekend's sales. I am still trying to be more active in listing. As always, if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you would subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. But don't go anywhere, because this video will continue with what else I sell this week. I'll be right back. Hey again, it's Wednesday and I've got a couple more things to ship out. So the first item that sold is this pair of bangle bracelets, and they are snakeskin, and they are by Ted Rossi. Interestingly enough, I sold another pair, the other pair that were gold, smooth leather. Was it last week? And these have been listed for a little while, so I'm not sure why all of a sudden they both sold, and they sold to different people. But that's fine. They had been banging around in my death pile forever, so I am happy to move them out. This pair sold for $30. These were given to me, so my cost of goods is $0. So that made my earnings $24. That's just fine. I'm happy to move these out. And I did look up sold comps on eBay for this brand, and that was in line with what this brand of bangle bracelets sells for. I did have them listed higher, I think maybe $49 for the pair, but it is the season of sales, as I am back to saying, and I am happy to move things along. For these, I am going to be using the 1096L box. It's slightly larger than the small flat rate box. And I might add a little more tissue so those don't bang around in there. But I use that for belts, some jewelry, other small items. Okay, so the next item is a pretty fun sale. It is this vintage coat. And this does have a leopard fur collar. I did not indicate in the listing that it was actual leopard fur. I just put leopard print because you can no longer buy and sell leopard fur. And I would totally be against that, except this is vintage, and this was made before those laws went into effect. So I'm not, you know, doing anything wrong, but I didn't want to call attention to it because, you know, people will definitely have a problem with it, even though it is a vintage item that was made prior to any laws going into effect. And it's really a beautiful piece. This is actually a consignment piece that I was helping out another dealer. I sold a few things for her, and this I've had listed for over 2 years, and it ended up selling for $75. I think that's just fine because it wasn't in perfect condition. I would say, you know, fair. It looks good when you wear it, but if you look up close, it definitely had some noticeable wear and flaws. Let's see, I am out of tape. Okay, let me get finished here. I really love selling these vintage coats. I just think they are so unique and fun, and you just don't see anything similar on the market today. I mean, I guess there is similar stuff, but it's just the styling and the cuts just aren't the same. I'm going to wrap this in plastic too, but I will do that after the video. The next item is another vintage coat with a fur collar. This is a, I believe that this is antelope. It had a booklet in the pocket that said it was antelope fur or antelope skin, but I couldn't guarantee that. It is some sort of suede leather with a mink collar. And this is also something that I have had forever. It had quite a few flaws. The lining is coming apart. All of the buttons were missing on the front. So this only ended up selling for $41, which, you know, doesn't seem like enough to me, but the condition just didn't really warrant more, and it had been listed a really long time too. So the buyer offered me, I had it listed for $59, the buyer offered me $35, and I counter offered with $41, which was 30% off of my asking price, and she accepted. So this was sitting in my basement closet for years because I didn't want to list it because it wasn't in, you know, the greatest condition. It did have the buttons in the pocket, but I never got around to putting them back on there. So I just decided to list it as is, and it still took a long time to sell. Let's see, that is for the other one. This was also given to me. It sold for $41, so that made my earnings $32.80. I'm just going to, you know, let it go and move on. Apparently that was really all it was worth to someone, and you can't get top dollar for everything. So maybe she's just, you know, buying it for the mink fur collar. Maybe I could have just taken that off and sold it, but I don't think I could have gotten much more than that. So I'm going to package this up off camera just because it's kind of big and bulky, but I hope your guys' sales are going good. We had a crazy windstorm last night, probably one of the worst windstorms I've ever seen here. Lots of people with fences down, trees down, power out. Fortunately, we just had some power flashes, but it didn't ever go out fully. And it doesn't look like anybody was really hurt or, you know, anything really terrible, but it was definitely pretty severe and a little scary. Our dog, Millie, was really freaked out. So, well, don't go anywhere. This video will continue with what else I sell. Hopefully it picks up. I'll be right back. Hey again, it's Friday and I've got a couple more things to ship out. The first item is this vintage gold tone charm bracelet. It's just costume jewelry, but it has some really fun little charms on it. This took quite a while to sell. I have a feeling I didn't really use the right keywords on it, but it ended up selling for $20. So I am definitely happy to move it along. Looks like I maybe didn't cut a large enough piece of bubble wrap here. I paid about $3 for it. So that made my profit $13. That's just fine. I am ready to send it to a new home and I hope they really love it. The next item that sold is this pair of Born boots. And as you can see here, they have these kind of scuff marks on the side, but otherwise they were in almost like new condition. These also took quite a while to sell, maybe 6 or 8 months, but they ended up selling for $38. Of course, I didn't notice when I picked these up that they had the scuff marks because it was at an estate sale. And so I was grabbing kind of quickly because the shoes were only $1. But did I already say they sold for $38? That is pretty great, actually. And that made my profit $27.38. That's a nice little profit on a $1 investment. And I'm happy to send them off to their new home. I hope the buyer really loves them. Well, that is it for today, but don't go anywhere. This video will continue with what else I sell, or I'll share my total sales for the week. Really hasn't been a super great week. I am going to be open in my retail store tomorrow, so hopefully I have some in-person sales. I am running a sale in there for 10% off everything and 20% off if people pay cash. And I advertise that on my business Facebook page. So hopefully that will bring some people in and I can move out some barware and maybe some other little gifts. Fingers crossed. I hope your guys' sales are wonderful. And if I haven't said it already, happy Thanksgiving. This video will be coming out on Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys all had a wonderful day with your family and can find some things to have gratitude for. I think it is always great to try and be grateful all year round, but especially this time of year. I am so grateful for all of you and all of your support. It's just been so wonderful, you know, meeting you through this venue. I know it's a little bit different, but it is great to share our joys and trials and tribulations in the comments. I think it's just been really great for all of us. Again, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hi again. I didn't end up having time to ship the one sale that I had for Saturday, so I'm just going to save that and the other sales that I have for next week. I did have an open house in my retail shop and it went pretty well, so I'll also share those next week. So for the week of November 18th, it did not turn out to be a very great week, but that's okay. Some weeks are good, some weeks aren't. My total sales were $465. My total cost of goods was $58, and my total profit was $311.76. That's pretty disappointing. I had a total of 11 sales, which made my average sale price $42.27. That's okay. My average cost of goods $5.27, and my average profit $28.34. We're just going to move forward and hope that next week is better. Boy, Poshmark has been very, very slow for me. So I'm going to need to do something. I might try promoting my listings. I'm not really sure what is going on. I did get quite a bit of stuff photographed. As you can see right here, this is a pile of stuff that needs to be put away and hung up of things that I have photographed and that are pending being listed. So hopefully getting some more new items listed will help. And I hope your guys' sales are better than mine. As always, if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss out on any of my future uploads. Also, if you could give this video a thumbs up and make a comment down below. All those things really help me out, and I will see you guys all again next week.